After Augustus, the man who built the Roman Empire, passed away in 14 AD, the throne went to his stepson Tiberius. Many expected a smooth continuation of the Golden Age. Instead, Rome got a reluctant, complicated, and often misunderstood emperor. This is the story of Tiberius, a brilliant general who never wanted to be emperor. To understand the man who reluctantly inherited the greatest empire on earth, we must go back to the beginning. Tiberius Claudius Nero was born in 42 BC into a noble family. His mother Livia divorced his biological father and married Augustus when Tiberius was still a child. From a young age, Tiberius proved himself as an outstanding military commander. He led successful campaigns in Germany, Pannonia, and along the Danube frontier. Augustus trusted his military abilities more than almost anyone else. However, Tiberius was never Augustus's first choice. Augustus had hoped his grandsons, Gaius and Lucius Caesar, would succeed him. When both died young, Augustus had no other suitable heir. In 4 AD, Augustus officially adopted Tiberius as his son and heir. But becoming the heir came at a heavy personal cost. Tiberius was deeply in love with his first wife, Vipsania Agrippina. Ancient writers describe their marriage as genuinely affectionate. With Vipsania, Tiberius had one son, Drusus Julius Caesar. But Augustus forced Tiberius to divorce Vipsania and marry his own daughter, Julia the Elder. This was a political marriage meant to strengthen the family bloodline. Tiberius obeyed, but the marriage was miserable from the start. With Julia, the marriage produced one son who died in infancy. Julia was later exiled by Augustus for her scandals. Years later, when Tiberius saw Vipsania walking in the streets of Rome, he reportedly followed her with tears in his eyes. He never stopped loving her. Despite these personal sacrifices, Tiberius continued to serve the empire faithfully. Then, in 14 AD, everything changed. When Augustus died, Tiberius, then 55 years old, reluctantly became the second Roman emperor. He was cautious and even told the Senate that ruling such a vast empire was too heavy a burden for one man. Some senators saw humility. Others believed it was political theater. Perhaps, after a lifetime of sacrifice, Tiberius was simply telling the truth. He had spent his entire life running away from power. Yet power had finally caught up with him. Tiberius proved to be an exceptional ruler. He preserved the Pax Romana, strengthened Rome's finances, reduced unnecessary spending and kept the empire's borders secure. Trade flourished throughout the Roman world while disciplined legions guarded its frontiers. Under his rule, Rome remained peaceful, prosperous and remarkably stable. Unlike later emperors who spent fortunes seeking popularity, Tiberius carefully protected the empire's wealth and refused unnecessary extravagance. Ironically, the man who never wanted the throne proved remarkably good at ruling an empire. For a time, it seemed fate had finally rewarded Tiberius for a lifetime of sacrifice. But peace would not last forever. Tragedy was waiting once again. In 19 AD, tragedy struck the imperial family once more. Germanicus, the adopted son of Tiberius and Rome's most beloved prince, died suddenly in Syria at just 33 years of age. The entire empire mourned his death. Thousands poured into the streets of Rome in grief. Rumors of poisoning quickly spread throughout the empire, and suspicion began to surround the imperial family itself. Although historians have never found evidence linking Tiberius to Germanicus's death, many Romans would never forgive him. The shadow of Germanicus would haunt Tiberius for the rest of his reign. As Rome mourned its beloved prince, another danger was quietly rising within the imperial palace itself. Perhaps Tiberius's greatest mistake was trusting the wrong man. Lucius Aelius Sejanus, commander of the Praetorian Guard, gradually became more than an advisor. He became the second most powerful man in Rome. Slowly and secretly, Sejanus removed his enemies one by one. Treason trials became increasingly common, and fear began spreading throughout the empire. Even members of the imperial family were no longer safe. Exhausted by politics and growing increasingly distrustful of Rome's aristocracy, Tiberius withdrew to the beautiful island of Capri in 26 AD. From there, he continued to rule the empire from afar. Ancient writers described shocking stories of cruelty and debauchery on Capri, though many historians believe these accounts were exaggerated by his enemies. Then came one of the greatest political surprises of Tiberius's reign. The emperor discovered that Sejanus himself had been plotting against him. In a dramatic move, Tiberius secretly sent a letter to the Roman Senate exposing Sejanus's treason. As senators gathered expecting honors to be bestowed upon Sejanus, they instead heard accusations of conspiracy and betrayal. Within hours, the empire's second most powerful man was arrested and executed. Even from hundreds of miles away, Tiberius had outplayed everyone in Rome. But even emperors cannot escape time, tragedy, or loss. Years of tragedy and betrayal had changed Tiberius forever. The brilliant young general had become a lonely and suspicious old emperor. Tiberius had one son, Drusus, with Vipsania. But Drusus died in 23 AD, possibly poisoned. Germanicus was gone. Rome no longer loved him. In his final years, Tiberius adopted his grandnephew Gaius, better known as Caligula, the son of his nephew Germanicus. He did this to maintain stability in the imperial family and ensure a clear line of succession, as he had no other close male heirs left. When Tiberius died in 37 AD at the age of 77, many Romans celebrated. Yet history has been kinder to him than his own people were. He left behind a richer, safer, and more stable empire than the one Augustus had given him. And perhaps that is history's greatest irony. The man who never wanted power preserved Rome for 23 years. The man who spent his life trying to escape greatness became one of the most important emperors in Roman history. Tiberius remains one of Rome's greatest paradoxes. A brilliant soldier, a reluctant ruler, and a lonely emperor who sacrificed his own happiness for duty. He never wanted the throne, but history chose him anyway. And if you enjoy discovering the extraordinary stories behind history's greatest rulers, don't forget to subscribe. Our next chapter takes us to one of Rome's most infamous emperors, Caligula.